Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a clip of a fat activist saying, if you're not fat, you're fatphobic. Yes, we've gone so far completely off the rails that we're calling anybody that's not obese fatphobic. We're also going to be taking a look at a couple of bonus clips, including one where a fat activist is getting angry when people talk about how proud they are to be skinny, and another one where somebody's teaching us how to deal with internalized fat phobia. So be sure to stick around until the end. Before we proceed, please click the like button so that I may apply comb to mustache. Caption at the top reads, before you start posting your New Year's resolution, LMFAO.
And for skinny people, can I just say too, like, in the era of Ozempic, of heroin chic, of Y2K level fat phobia, do all of the fat people in your life a huge favor and work on unlearning your own fat phobia.
Okay, so I need to stop being so lazy and put in some hard work.
I promise you, if you're not fat, you have subconscious fat phobia you need to work on.
See? Told you she said that. I did not clickbait you, man.
A lot of fat people do too. Because I feel like...
Okay, so what is fat phobia then? Thin people have it. Some fat people have it. Is fat phobia in the room with us right now?
It's already hard for fat people to like see this stuff on the internet, but it's so much worse when you're hanging out with one of your friends and they say something that's like super fat phobic on accident. Or like without even realizing it.
On accident.
We just need to do better, okay? Big is not an insult. Eating is okay. You need to do that to live.
Right, unless you eat in excess and then it becomes unhealthy.
Big back is not funny and you should not be calling yourself or anybody else that.
Okay, so it's fine to call each other fat and big is beautiful, but we can't call each other big back. That's an insult. What? Why? Because we didn't come up with that? I would be more insulted by the word fat than big back, personally. Big back is like a nicer version of fat where they're trying to be nice, right?
I don't know why the that is okay or why people think it's okay.
Well, I mean, it's a lot nicer than the word fat. I think most people would agree with.
Fat people can call themselves fat in a way that is neutral. You don't need to correct them.
Can we call each other big back in a way that is neutral? Your logic literally makes no sense.
There are people who are bigger than you. Some people's clothes are bigger than yours. That's okay. Just do better for your fat baddies. Thank you.
Okay, so if you're not fat, you're fat phobic, and we can't call each other big back. Okay. Well, I would say if you're not thin, you're thin phobic. You see how that works? Gotti! You called somebody a skinny mini that time. We don't like that. That's offensive as hell. We prefer the term thin bitches. Next.
You are not saying something groundbreaking or revolutionary by talking about how proud you are to be a skinny person.
You're not saying anything revolutionary or groundbreaking by talking about how proud you are to be fat.
Okay? And it's wild to me that in the same breath, a lot of these same people will talk.
Is this a labored breath? Do-do-do. Sorry. Oh wait, now we're talking about skinny people.
About how they grew up skinny and they were bullied for it, but then also recognize that society treats fat people and plus size people as subhuman.
What is this look on your face? This is the like, no, for really realers, guys. Like, seriously, this shit is for real.
Okay? But when you talk about how proud you are to be thin, you're reminding me of a certain group of people.
Fat activists and how they're always talking about how they're proud to be fat. I know, it's problematic.
And I'm not going to say it directly. I'm going to have you read in between the lines a little bit, okay?
Yeah, fat activists.
If you can do that.
Yeah, I think I just did.
And you might be thinking, oh, Emily, that is such a big jump. How could you say that? Actually, if you had any knowledge of the fat acceptance movement,
then you would know that people saying they're proud to be thin is literally the same thing as people saying they're proud to be fat, just in the opposite direction. You only care about yourself and your own issues, and you cannot even imagine that people have equally bad but opposite issues to you. I know, there's a whole world of other human beings out there with problems. Other people exist? What?
Of the body positive movement, you would understand that fat people and plus size people loving and accepting their bodies has always been political.
It's always been political. What the fuck does that mean? It literally means nothing. What you said was nothing. Fat activists could go off on a tangent for 20 minutes and at the end you're like, you didn't say anything. You literally, there's nothing to even counter.
There is a reason that this movement, okay,
is going nowhere.
Went alongside with other social justice movements.
No, it didn't. None of them said, hey guys, you're part of our movement too. You tried to align yourself with other movements to make yourself appear more legitimate and make yourself impervious to criticism.
Okay, I know this. I wrote a 45-page paper in my social justice movement class.
In your social justice movement class. I'm clearly a moron for questioning you then. What the hell? Well, you're clearly an expert on the topic then. You wrote a 45-page essay for your social justice movement class. They have classes for that?
About the same thing, okay? And
well, I mean, if you wrote a paper, then you're clearly a professional. It's not like anybody can literally write a paper about anything. And it's not like you have a skewed perspective on this topic because you're part of the fat liberation movement. You're clearly not biased at all.
When people come online and they talk about how they face similar challenges as fat people and yada yada yada, it's giving reverse racism.
Whoa! Whoa!
Okay, there are creators who are much more knowledgeable than me. I will link one below, okay?
You don't have to link me below, man. Come on. Come on. People know who I am. No, I'm just kidding. Nobody knows who the hell I am.
But I need you to understand that there is a power dynamic.
No, there's not. Fat shaming is the same thing as skinny shaming. They're literally the same thing, making fun of somebody for their physical appearance.
All right? There is a power dynamic.
There's no power dynamic, but people are superficial and they are nicer to people that they are attracted to, typically. I'm sure you do the same thing.
And by you recognizing that there is a power dynamic and you being able to understand that society treats you better, but
that's a complete waste of time, dude. There's no power dynamic. The fact that you think your struggle is worse than everybody else's and you keep going on these tirades trying to explain why is nothing more than narcissism.
Not doing anything about it and also feeding into it, you are the problem. There's a reason why that conservatism and traditional values are on the uptick at the same time that all of this like thin is in, skinny is whatever, they go hand in hand with one another.
I don't think there's an uptick of any of that stuff. It never went away. People never stopped being attracted to signs of health. For a minute there, everybody loved obesity because Tess Holliday got a couple of modeling gigs, I guess. I don't know where we're getting this idea that thin is in is back as if it went anywhere. Where did it go? And when? Where was the era where everybody was into obesity? I don't remember that era. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you if you're obese. This is like a short dude being like, all of a sudden everybody's into tall people again. What happened?
Okay, and I'm not just making this up.
You're not just making this up. Good enough for me. That takes care of that. I don't know why, dog, but I believe her.
Actually is very easy to understand if you have any sort of critical thinking skills.
And if I don't?
Or access to Google.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Okay.
I don't feel like it is my job, nor is it fat people of color's job to educate you on this subject.
Why are we bringing them into this?
But it needs to be talked about. Okay?
I don't know if it does. I don't know if it does. It kind of feels like this conversation could have been not had, actually. I feel like our lives would have been just fine not hearing this.
It needs to be talked about because you guys are losing the plot. You guys are going insane and crazy. And it's... I can't.
What do you mean I'm going insane and crazy? How dare you say that? No, I'm just kidding. That was insane, and I disagree, honestly. If I'm being honest with you, I disagree with that. I'm going insane and crazy. Next, caption at the top reads, "The trauma of being overweight and the struggle of internalized misogyny."
So last night, after a long day of traveling, feeling very bloated with achy knees and ankles,
From fatphobia.
stood in front of a mirror and looked at myself. It was hard. I saw the body of my mother when I was a teenager. I used to peek at her in the bathroom and secretly think that it was really ugly and vowed I'd never look like that.
Really? As a child? I don't buy that. Right out the gate, I think that's a lie. Even as a child who knew nothing and didn't have any of these off-the-wall body image issues at all, because children aren't like that.
And now I do. I know how many times men's gaze flipped right over me as I traveled home, how many times they saw my partner, my travel partner, instead of me, and called me her mother, and called me in Mexico mama and mommy, because I was an older woman, and obviously not thin woman.
Does mommy mean not thin woman? I'm unfamiliar with this. What? Okay, hold on. Okay, mommy, which is spelled M-A-M-I, is a colloquial term used by children that literally means mommy. Mamita is a term of endearment used by children to refer to their mothers. Mamacita is an informal term used to express affection to mothers, but can also refer to a girlfriend or wife. Okay, so they called you mommy, which literally just means mommy. It doesn't mean a not thin or old woman. It doesn't mean any of that. I love how much people project their insecurities, dude. He said hola to me, which I'm pretty sure means hello, fat old woman. What do you mean, porque? What the hell? Como está? What the fuck is that supposed to mean? So you're saying I'm fat and old? Hola? Sorry, I went back on this side, then I was on this side for a minute, then I was over there. That didn't even make any sense, bro.
You know, I was looking back at the old photos when I first started dieting, when I was asked to go weigh in at a TOPS meeting. This is back in the day when women, the only clothing they had was one size, a big moo-moo flowing outfit. And I would go in and I
Oh man, my grandma used to wear moo-moos.
would look like this and this, and asked to weigh in, and then look at all the women around me and somehow think that there was something inherently wrong, so that when I was this, I still thought I was fat.
So, why are you telling us?
How do we move to a society that doesn't equate worthiness and lovableness and value based upon our appearance?
I don't know. Are you not superficial at all? Any of you that complain about how superficial society is, are you not also superficial? When I see a fat activist get with a dude that's 4 feet tall and 800 pounds, then I'll believe you. Until then, you're full of it. You got Harry Styles posters on your wall, homie. I've seen fat activists go to Harry Styles concerts before, which is weird because he's not even obese. All the type of media that they consume and the dudes that they look up to and want to be with are all conventionally attractive. How about that? You personally, are you with a man that is 4 feet tall and 800 pounds? Probably not. That's probably not what you think is attractive. You want somebody that puts a bunch of time and effort into their appearance while you don't have to, which is really bizarre. I deserve a man that's 6'5", completely jacked, makes 6 figures, has a dong that's just enormous. But I don't have to do any work on myself at all. I don't care if that dude is even attracted to me. He will be with me. He will shut up and be with me from now on. Okay, would you even want to be with somebody that's not genuinely attracted to you? You know what I mean? Like, I just got with you to be nice. And now every time I'm looking at you and I go to hug you, there's like this you can like feel that vibe from me, like you want that? You don't want that. I don't want that from people. I want to be with somebody that actually is into me and actually likes me.
Based upon the number on a scale or the size of dress that we wear. How do we become a society that truly sees our value, our heart, and loves us for that?
If you want a world full of less superficial people, you should start with yourself. Be the change that you want to see in the world. Go be with somebody whose personality you love without giving any regard to their physical appearance at all. I bet you won't. I bet you still want a dude that is buff, tall, and rich.
Not loves us for how hot or sexy we are. How we've gotten to a place where the way to demolish a woman's self-esteem is to simply tell her that she's too fat.
How come attacks on your physical appearance hurt you more than anything else? Somebody tries to insult you based on other stuff, and all that stuff just bounces right off you because you don't care. You're dumb. You're lazy. You were not a good person. You're fat. Oh, how could you? Well, I never. If somebody shoots a bunch of insults at you and the only one that hits you and actually hurts is fat, then that might just mean that you're superficial.
And what is too fat? I never felt thin enough. Not ever. Not once.
Yeah, it sounds like a personal problem.
There's something wrong with that. When this magical, perfect number is an impossible one to hit.
It's not impossible. If we go outside, we can see that a lot of people have accomplished this feat. Therefore, it's possible. If Becky can do it, you can do it. Because Becky doesn't live on a world full of different rules of thermodynamics and whatnot. She's also on Earth. So you should probably put your ego aside and ask her what she did to lose weight.
We need to be doing better. I know it needs to start with me.
There we go. Alright, and she wrapped it up by having a moment of lucidity and saying, I know it needs to start with me. Yes, it does. If you want to see less superficiality in the world, you can start by being less superficial. So I disagree with all of the points that people tried to make in all of those videos today, but what do you think? Is it true that if you're not fat, you're fatphobic? Are you not saying anything groundbreaking or revolutionary when you talk about how proud you are to be a skinny person? And does society need to stop being so damn superficial? Leave a comment below. Happy Thursday, everybody. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.